Holy shit! Holy shit! I mean, look, you can get lost in... Holy shit!
This is a mystery, isn't it?
I mean... In early September 1914, the German army tried to take the fortress of Verdun in an encirclement from both east and west. During this maneuver, the German troops managed a breakthrough of more than 20 kilometers into the French defensive system before being stopped by strong resistance on the plain of the Vosges. We visited the huge stop fort of Manonville, which was taken by the Germans. The next large fort down that line was Liouville, and that is an extremely interesting fort for a lot of reasons, especially all those unknown ones. So Roger and I will show you. This fort is part of the defensive line between Toul and Verdun. It was designed by General Sire de Rivière. It dominates the plain and controlled the access to the valley of the Meuse. From 1878 to 1910, Fort de Liouville experienced a lot of known and unknown upgrades. Some were the installation of external cannons and armored turrets of 75 and 155 millimeters. At the beginning of World War I, there were 3 armored observation domes installed and stores under the bedrock under the fort, and lots more were cemented over the special concrete. In September 1914, the garrison of the fort, commanded by Governor Lange, had a total of 703 men from the 166th Infantry Regiment and the 5th Regiment of Foot Artillery, and some telegraph operators, foresters, and some nurses. The task of the now strengthened fort was to stop the Germans as long as possible. And on the 22 September 1914, the garrison opened fire on German troops of the 5th Army under Corps Commander General von Strauss. The very next day, the German artillery was in position, and shells began to rain down on the fort. Supported by strong Fort Liouville, Fort de Liouville reopened fire on the enemy troops. Until 29 September, the garrison suffered a heavy bombardment and took on much damage. One of the turrets was also damaged and now unable to operate. On 30 September, part of the garrison was evacuated as the commander recognized the danger that posed. The fort was bombarded until 16 October 1914. However, German massive fire and extensive damage caused to the fort did not stop the French flag flying throughout the war. Until the end of the war, the fort remained weakly occupied by French army forces. It served as an observation post facing German lines and a resting place for regiments out of combat. In September 1918, its remaining 75mm turret opened fire and supported the Franco-American attack on the Saint-Mihiel salient. The fort is so large, with so many hidden parts, it took a long time just to get some idea of what was what. Fortunately, there is an association of volunteers doing a hell of a job cleaning this place up, making it somewhat safe to crawl through.
It must have been so fantastic to be stationed here.
I just love the fact that this completely and utterly destroyed segment here, the first thing you see of the little driveway is this, which used to be a little pillbox. You can sort of faintly see the arch here that's completely destroyed. But in this, and it's hard for me to sort of show you, it looks like a lump of rock, but there was actually guys in here. There's no embrasures, there's nothing, it is just destroyed. And as tradition, there's a great bunch of volunteers that are bringing this fort back to life. And that took a bit of job since it was very well destroyed. There seems to be absolutely no information of what might have happened here during the Second World War, but inside there are some really strange modern steel and concrete structures that nobody seems to be able to figure out what was for. And let's not forget the amazing Galopard turret that was hit and exploded and damaged and then rebuilt into an observation deck. There's a lot of things for you to see here, and a lot of learning, because this fort was a lot of firsts for both Roger and I, a fortress construction that we'd never seen before.
Alright, this is interesting. Oh, I love this building. I just love this. You see here from, I don't know why it's blackened, but it was so heavily shelled that the 700 soldiers in here actually moved into the field because they were just so much in danger here. As the German shelling began, the garrison here actually moved into the field because the fort was being dismantled to an extent by German artillery that they didn't think they could sustain it. So don't think that this building is blackened is because of the fire or something else, but it's amazing.
This was one of the earliest of the Serre de Rivière forts, built from 1876 to 1878, in just 2 years, despite its enormous size. They hewed out the rock at the top of this ridge and built the fort down inside it, and then they threw all the rubble on the roof to protect it. Behind us is, well, behind the camera, come on, if you turn around. The entry here was a simple archway. There was never any armored gateway, etc. Okay, and they used gigantic rocks, which they cut from, from the natural rock formation. When they built the fort proper, then they did later add items. They modified it over a series of years. The caponia here on our right didn't exist. They added it an exterior caponia. Normally, they took the caponias. They had caponias to start with, then they took them away and hid the guns in the contrescarpe. But here they added a caponia on the outside, and it's partially concreted.
Is that why it's black?
No, the colors there, the light brown and the blue color, that's concrete.
Okay, because it's blackened on the front, and I was wondering why that was.
No, I'm not sure why it's black on the front. Just the stone that they got out, and there's a bit of concrete on the top as well. So it was partially concreted. The roof was never basically concreted, and because there was no well here, no source of water, they put a thin layer of concrete with channels so they could save the rainwater and then filter it. But then, of course, the military railway came in down here, and they took the supplies in the wartime entrance when they were being fired at. And, of course, the little railway could bring water wagons, like they did around Verdun. They supplied the forts at Verdun with water in little cisterns on the military light railway. Okay. Here the drawbridge used to move to the side. Parce que le regret, il se déplace comme ça quand
voilà, c'est un pont-levis.
Oui, à côté. Et avec un puits en dessous.
Avec une fosse qui s'appelle la fosse AA.
The fosse AA.
So it moved in here.
Ne me demandez pas pourquoi on l'appelle comme ça, je ne sais pas. C'est la fosse AA.
Ça m'a pris 20 ans à découvrir pourquoi on appelait la fosse diamant. Yeah, you don't see this.
I don't see this. What am I seeing?
The space where the bridge goes in.
I know. And where's the little staircase go down?
They might have made a little exit under the bridge, but they haven't found one.
Aha, I'll look for it.
Because it's been modified many, many times.
That's fantastic.
Vous voyez à Troyon l'architecture.
Oh, this looks gorgeous, isn't it?
2 years. It's enormous.
Really?
They built it in 2 years with 2,000 workers. That is brilliant.
En 2 ans, j'ai compris.
2 ans.
En 2 ans, oui.
What happened to the wall here? When was it abandoned?
It was abandoned after the First World War. Non, ça s'est défendu. C'est ma maison. Ils ont laissé. Alors, qu'est-ce qui s'est passé avec le...
And there was power here, French power.
On ne sait pas trop, peut-être à nos vues, ici, le fort...
The German bombardment started the 22nd of September 1914, and in 10 days this fort was hit by 6,000 shells. Oh no, not immediately, they didn't immediately leave. Ah, right, there was so much damage caused by these 6,000 shells that the governor of the place, he said, well, you know, we're going to evacuate. And they took the cannons out.
Et puis de sauver ce qui restait
The ones
d'artillerie.
that left, I mean, a lot of cannons were smashed to pieces here. On the ramparts, they took the remaining cannons out and put them in the forest.
So this was technically the first and probably the only electrified fort of the line around Verdun, which is pretty damn amazing. Pre-World War I.
La particularité de ce fort, c'est que dans l'entrée de paix, vous avez une galerie.
Don't you just love those little holes
Il faut savoir que
that are hiding in walls covered by bricks? They're still looking for hallways underneath the drawbridge. There's supposed to be a little walkway there, but they don't actually exactly know where it is because they haven't found it yet. And you love some of these forts because there's unique details to each one of them, but you don't exactly know what they are. And then there's wartime fixes and rebuilds and rebuild and rebuild and rebuild, and people did stuff to these forts that may not actually show up in any of the plans, which is pretty damn amazing and makes it fun for people restoring it because they never know what they find in the depth of places. And God bless the army of volunteers who's taking care of these places. It's all we have left.
These are the slabs of pieces of armor of the Mougins. Oh look, I think that must be wreckage of the armor of the cupola itself, because it's curved like that.
Yeah.
Difficult to tell. It's probably near the top of one fragment, but you saw the photo.
So did the tunnel continue entirely here, or was here a space?
The tunnel goes on. The tunnel goes on, there's a courtyard.
So this was connected?
No, there's an open space.
There was an open space? Yeah, because that looks like the end stone of a tunnel.
Yeah, that's it. So that would have been copied behind us. Okay. And then you've got several courtyards. That's why this fort is... the style is unique, because normally when you come into one of these forts, you go in the central tunnel and there are corridors go off on left and right, but you're still in the tunnel, and then normally you get to the Mougins in the center of it, and then other corridors go off left and right. But here you come in the main entrance and you have an open space. You have a courtyard, and then we're going to see other courtyards further on, where the living quarters are.
Qui montait
There was a big
pour arriver sur l'abri d'infanterie.
There's a troop shelter at the top.
Well, that's what that is.
Yeah. It's a bat sanctuary, so they've closed it.
Please don't let me get started on the bats.
Le parc naturel de Lorraine, on est classé Natura 2000.
Elektricitet auch.
Avec le... Du hast noch die
Elektricitet. That's brilliant.
Isolateur, je sais pas comment, je vais me dire comme isolateur.
Oui, c'est de la porcelaine.
Insulators. Porcelain insulator.
That is brilliant.
And then, do you know?
Yeah.
The association is part of the Natural Park of Lorraine. So they work with preservation of species, bats and things like that. Okay.
Oui, alors il faut savoir que quand le fort a été
Yeah, it is.
dans l'association, il a fallu dégager toutes les galeries parce qu'on ne pouvait pas accéder, on ne pouvait pas rentrer en voiture, même pas à pied.
Roger, you know these. You know these. You know the American roads.
Yeah. For airfields.
Yeah. So this is definitely, it's a World War II reinforcement?
No, the society
Post-
did this. They did this to open up the entrance.
On a eu la chance dans l'association, à une époque, on a eu
Heureusement, hein?
So this is the only fort in France the American army never shot at?
I'm going to put my coat on this time, do you know?
Yeah.
J'étais au Grand-Trange. Vous connaissez Grand-Trange? Gigantesque. Dans ma chemise. Oh non! Oh, le fou.
What have we here?
Yeah, this is a water basin.
Il y avait une pompe là.
There was a pump there to pump the water in here. Yeah, I like, yeah. Light tunnels.
Et ils ouvraient les robinets par cette petite trappe là.
Ah, they open the tap here. There's a tap there.
There was
Passer la main.
So, this is where the water would come in.
No, that's where the water would come out.
Come out.
Yeah.
Was this a full wall tank or just a little reservoir?
There is no natural well here. There's no spring. So the way they supplied water to the fort was that outside the fort there was a big basin which collected rainwater, and the water was filtered through sand, and then it was pumped down here. It's a system Ruby, they call it.
So this is not the main water reservoir. This is the water cistern for collection of that.
It arrives
Okay.
here, okay, for daily use.
That makes much more sense. That makes sense. So everything looks good in this light.
Yeah.
Just saying. It's just a beautiful place. It's a beautiful visual place.
And they built it in 2 years.
That really is something else. Ooh.
Oh, yeah.
What was this?
Faites attention à vos pieds. Hein.
Yeah.
Ça c'est une cave à canon.
Oh, it's a shelter for cannons or mortars, like a Troyon.
So this was the firing
It's a
pit.
firing point. Yeah.
So okay, so high elevation mortar.
Haute élévation de mortier. Peut-être un mortier à 65%.
Il y avait des mortiers aussi.
Oh, and there's several of those that are nicely covered.
C'est là où on stocke notre matériel. Alors,
Oui, mais c'est comme le Ravelin à l'arrière de Troyon.
So this is literally firing positions in the center of the fort.
You had those at Troyon as well.
Yeah. Gorgeous place.
90 ou...
Yeah.
On sait que c'est du...
There are 2 embrasures here. I think there were 2 at Troyon as well, inside the fort. There's a big smoke extractor in the roof. Yeah, these would be these were rifled mortars here.
Rifle mortars.
Rifled high-angle guns. There we are. That's the best thing to call them.
Voilà, vous avez un...
Short barrel tunnel. That is very long tunnel up to because when they excavated the rock to build this place, they threw the rubble on the roof, and that is a very deep tunnel there, a light tunnel.
What are we looking at? A 4-meter roof ceiling?
Combien d'épaisseur en haut? C'est 4 mètres d'eau?
Ouais, on dirait même 5, hein.
5 meters.
5 meters.
16 feet of rubble. So Tino, do you want me to mention that? Oh, look at that earth that's blown in there.
You just mention away.
Ouais, vous pouvez le voir. Hein.
The
On va enlever la barrière si vous voulez.
as we drove up, but we saw a sign which said it's the 45
Yes.
massif.
Yeah.
Means a big chunk, a big block, if you like. I don't know how you translate that. Because when Serre de Rivière forts were covered in earth, masonry covered in earth, this was covered in what?
The rock.
The rock they dug out.
Ça,
And that is much better.
c'est une chambrée.
It's a bedroom.
Ouais. Il y a encore les lits.
This is the actual caserne.
The beds look still.
Holy shit! These are the actual beds that was crushed by the rock.
The rock, the explosion, yeah.
I mean, holy hell.
Then the shell comes in there, blows a hole in the roof, and well, the rubble it lands here on the beds.
There are just no ending of holes and shell holes bursting through the 5 meters of ceiling and stone. That's a bit of a thing. And just in case you missed it, because I almost fell what I did, a car just drove by here. And we're pretty much in the center of the fort. So this is big enough that even after all of this destruction, for some reason, cars still go through here.
There were very few casualties in the fort.
I mean, mommy, make my bed, please. I mean, damn.
That's brilliant to see.
That is absolutely brilliant. It's even more brilliant they didn't dig them out.
Bonjour, monsieur.
So there were not a lot of casualties, you say? That is so cool.
Mortier, yeah. It's another mortar. Right, so the kit is still under there. Ça, c'est unique.
That's putting it mildly.
Well, they tried to dig things out, and I'm thinking, best to leave it.
Yeah, because I mean it.
Our guys have reminded me that Colonel Tripner said he called this the very special fort, or the very strange fort of Liouville.
The very strange fort of Louisville.
Because it has features which the others do not have.
Down this way then. Should we?
What is your two? To see. One of the colleagues is going to turn on the generator. Where does that go?
Powder magazine.
C'est un magasin de poudre?
C'est ça.
Yep, powder magazine.
Voilà.
This is one of the original powder magazines, right?
Ils ont bétonné.
Yeah.
They put concrete in here.
But the lamp holes are still the same.
On a du mal à savoir à quel moment ça a été bétonné, à quel moment ça a été modifié, on ne sait pas réellement. Il y a même on a le journal de marche de l'opération du fort, mais ils n'en parlent pas.
They never tell, even in the official journal of the fort, they never said when they did these different modifications. You know, all big shells come in through there, and through the W encore.
Oui. Beaucoup de trous d'obus ici.
Yeah.
But, I mean...
C'est un magasin à poudre qui est...
Yeah, this is... Yeah, you can sort of see this is a rebuild.
Il est magnifique.
Yes.
This is the lamp gallery.
Voilà, ça c'est les carreaux. C'est les carreaux.
Yeah, I know.
But this is a piece of the glass to show you the thickness.
Qui ont été volés, bien sûr.
Oh, this is the glass.
It's a big glass.
It is a big glass. Yeah. Well, you don't want any sparks flying through. I've seen so many of these, and this is actually nice to see the actual glass that would go in between.
Yeah. Wow. C'est massif.
C'est les coursives qui existent toujours et qui sont fermées pour les chaussures.
We can't go in, they're closed because they are a bat sanctuary.
I speak bat.
This place is...
It really is.
Mais le courant là ou pas?
Au début de la destruction, il y a beaucoup de choses qui marchent, ils existent. Ces tunnels, ils existent.
Ah oui.
This is an air conditioning system for the powder magazines. Mm-hmm. They had to keep them dry at all times, and so the heavier it rained, the more they would open these little shutters to circulate the air inside. And as we will see, the powder magazine is very, very dry. Okay.
All right.
It's fantastic.
I love this, yeah.
Fantastic product. L'avantage d'avoir une force si grande, c'est que même s'il y a 6000 obus qui tombent, ils ne peuvent pas du tout, ils font des dégâts, mais ils ne peuvent pas du tout détruire le fort.
Non. On l'a vu avec d'ailleurs Douaumont, l'intérieur de Douaumont n'est pas si endommagé que ça à l'intérieur.
Start inside the powder magazine.
Ouais, c'est ça.
Oh, look at the original door. The wood is gone, but the metal sheeting where they nailed it on.
I know there used to be a door. That's just, you never see this. I mean, you never see this. Of course, there's wood on the inside of the door.
Serrure 3 points. Il y avait 3 serrures en fait.
The 3 bolts. It was à Guintonge, ils avaient des portes en 2 pièces. Et
This is where you need to have opera.
Ah, vous voyez, c'est tout sec.
Yeah, it's dry as bone. There's, the roof is doubled, you know.
Alors ici, il peut stocker 80 tonnes de goudron.
80 tons of black powder in here. That's a lot.
Especially if it goes off.
Yeah.
So when you said the roof is doubled, does that mean the roof is 10 meters thick?
No. There's a space.
There's a space between. Yeah, because the bricks are not quite straight on each other. But
C'est une pierre plus fort, il n'y a pas de décalage en fait.
No, this was never destroyed.
was it stacked in shelves in here since there's little indents, or?
There was a wooden floor. Underneath that, there was like a waterproofing layer.
Is that an electric holder?
Oui.
Oui.
But when the war began, they took the black powder outside the fort.
Smart.
They evacuated all that because that was the real danger. You blow the whole fort up with that. And then they used this for stocking other things.
Yes.
Do you know, the soldiers who came in here to take the powder out, they wore a mirror on their chest.
What?
The soldiers who took the black powder out of here, when it was full of black powder,
Yeah.
they wore a mirror on their front
Pourquoi?
to catch the light which was coming in, to reflect it.
Oh.
Parce que les
Oh, dear God, let us find a picture of that. It's like the Egyptians did. Directed light into the pyramids by mirror. And then we could sing Gilbert and Sullivan in here. What are we doing?
Tu sens, hein, il y a de l'air, on sent l'air qui circule. Ah bah ouais, ok. C'est
You can feel the air.
un vide
Oh, this is a ventilation tunnel.
Ouais, y a pas.
Yeah, I can feel the air coming up from there.
It's a
So everything surrounding this, the hallways and everything. So this entire building is surrounded by ventilation.
yeah.
Outstanding.
When the bombardment was going on,
C'est super, hein.
at night the soldiers would go in the underground magazines where they had taken out the black powder from here, and they used to sleep on top of it.
That seems safer. Right, what's going on in here and why am I not in here? I think people have come to expect it.
Non, c'est juste pour lui montrer le Ah oui, oui. Ah bah non, il a sa caméra. Oui, il a... Attention la tête. Attention la tête.
So, what do we have here? We have a hole and another hole. So the other powder magazine is that way. Oder? Oh, I see the problem. Oh, this is the...
C'est l'autre côté.
Oh yeah, we saw that from the other side.
Dans une cour. Ça peut passer au-dessus, quoi.
And I see the electrical in the roof, which is phenomenal. Was this always an exit or a sortie port, or is this just one of the internal tunnels?
There's a little courtyard there.
There's another courtyard. I mean, it looks really damn good, I will say. So there's be a tunnel going through and
Yeah, well, I don't know, we can't see really.
well, I don't think you have to crawl. I'm pretty sure we're gonna go around
gonna
the other
see
side, yeah.
The other powder magazine has completely collapsed. It's just a big pump
Yeah.
level.
But you gotta love people who let me crawl through crap instead of this whole, no, you might get hurt. I need to work on my French. And I love to have electrical.
Bah, tout de suite après la fontaine des à gauche.
for
À gauche, fais ça. Ouais, c'est monté un petit peu.
Pre-World War I, you never see that, do you?
Ça, à la batterie de l'Éperon.
Ah oui, oui, je sais, ouais. Il y a une bonne association là-bas. Très bonne.
Oui, oui. Président Alain, c'est le...
Well, it's a good house. Good repair. And this is the repair into the roof of the entrance of the magazine, which is, you know, as true to my tradition, large pointy rocks hanging over my head. And I know you all know I'm not wearing a helmet because, I mean, seriously, come on now.
Des fois, faut pas grand-chose. Faut pas grand-chose.
De toute façon,
Does he give a shit if I go in there?
Est-ce qu'il peut aller dedans?
Oui, allez-y.
Ok, pour les...
Tant que vous êtes
There's
là.
metal there.
Yeah.
Profitez, mais vous faites pas mal à
Attention à la tête, hein.
Now you know why I love these people. They let me do stupid stuff like this. So we don't know what was in here.
No.
Aha! And here are the electrical and the wood dowels, and you gotta love this for a number of reasons. Oh, dear God, this is awesome. Oh, this is Roger. There's a tunnel above there as well.
Ils ont utilisé des grands blocs de roche, hein,
Oui, oui.
pour construire.
Oh, this is so... I don't even know what to say to this. This is just... I mean... I know it's a masonry fort, but look at this. It's gorgeous. With a little... I suppose that's a buttress in the archway in the hallway. A little arched way. You have... Could have been an exit. And you have the tunnels underneath here. And behind me the powder magazines. You actually see how they're arched here. Oh. And here or something. And I see a light coming over there on that side, so I'm thinking there was probably an exit, maybe to the upstairs ramparts. Now I'm sliding, that's great. It still looks to me that there's 5 meters up there, but when we go into the powder magazine down here, you're still looking at double. Oh, this is brilliant. Oh, look at this. This is absolutely brilliant. This is nice. It's chilly in here. Chill came down there. Oh, God, this is gorgeous. What a place. I thought I was blown away when the car drove past me in here. I see cement here. Wow, here's some serious cement here. That must have been an exit. That was definitely bricked up. So they don't know what was in here. Because, of course, everybody did something different. But originally, well, the different part of the construction, the shell came through here and took a good chunk of dirt with it. I mean, that's been bricked up as opposed to the one behind me, which has been cemented up. Sensory overload. Speaking of sensory overload, I'm actually walking on cement rubble, and if I'm not much mistaken, that might be a piece of rebar poking at me there. Got wood in here. Don't know. There's a brick up there as well. That's been cemented up, and there could be a corner there. Hard to tell. Well, wait a minute. There's a lot of row of red bricks here on top of the stone. I wonder if this has been repaired. There's like a stripe of red bricks running through the ceiling there. Huh. People ask me what my favorite place is. I don't think I could ever qualify what my favorite place is because there's so many of them. This was gorgeous in there. Oh God, yes. There's upstairs tunnels as well. There's a cement bricked hallway that's really cemented up on one side. And there's a whole bunch of holes in the roof. It's gorgeous.
And the 60 lights in rows of 12 that pass silently overhead.
It's just it's a drone swarm.
Yeah, they turned it on for us to. This is amazing.
It really is. So this is the bedrooms.
Yeah, a piece of bed, un morceau de lit qui marche. Yeah, that's a piece of bed.
That's one of the beds legs. I mean, you see them sitting in there by the wall. There's their feet a bed everywhere. Oh, they're not off the hook yet.
No.
What is so amazing about this is that the soldiers' gears actually still here along the beds, and they decided deliberately not to dig it out. Not the safety issue, but just it would seem wrong. Because this is their original gear, and this is where it landed, so this is where it stays. And that I absolutely respect. There are no dead bodies in here, only some 8-10 dudes actually died. And honestly, if you look at just the destruction we've seen so far, that the casualty number was that low, wow, they had a smart commander because... Remember, this had happened while they were sleeping here. But these were the peacetime barracks. And as we now know, they moved to the wartime barracks, the magazines, and slept on top of them.
And in fact, they even slept on top of the gunpowder in the underground caverns. That must have been.
Well, I mean, if you get
them smoking.
If you get a hit and you're sleeping on the gunpowder, you'll never know.
Never know about it.
I mean,
the soldiers built this wall here to block up a place opened up by shell fire. So this was what, 1914 they built that wall.
I knew you were going to say that. This is where the wood was for the caserne. This is where that little wood, the window.
Oui, il y avait des parties en bois, surtout sur le haut. C'est ça.
Yeah, the train came to the wartime entrance, and then they had to hand haul.
And that's not the outside. This is still the inside of the fort. We're still inside the.
Yeah, we're still inside. And then you have the series of little courtyards, look, with the but they're very special architecture.
You mean the one where the cars are parked in my way? Told you guys there was cars in here.
That's curious.
What is?
I don't know what it is. Why there is a door pivoting pin? Well, there are two of them, and yet the hole has been blocked up, leaving those two there. Very strange. There's a triangular courtyard.
It's a bathroom. C'était quand même spartiate, hein?
They did not climb in. They used the water to wash themselves, okay? Mm-hmm. And they had central heating boiler inside this construction, yeah? It's the only washroom for hundreds of men.
So where would they stand?
Stand around,
I suppose, yeah.
Often had hot water here.
They often had hot water.
Often, but not always.
Bon, ils devaient laver leur linge ou faire leur toilette, on sait pas trop.
Yeah.
Well, as long as we agree this was a urinal. It was, wasn't it?
Washing place.
This was a washing place.
Yes, it was.
Je pense qu'il y avait un cantonnement américain après.
Je suis allé là-haut il y a 20 ans en arrière.
So now we have to figure out what this thing is, why there was a hook in the middle of this door that no one knows what is. Not to mention all the rooms in here that nobody knows what was, which is just pretty awesome.
The documents of the fort don't tell them what anything was.
No, because everybody would show up and do their modification, do something, so whatever the original guy. But if we find the original plan, what he had intended, that would be a start.
Courtyard number 1.
Alors, il y avait plusieurs noms. Cour numéro 1.
These are unique. These are shell-shaped. Oh, as our guest said, our host, Gothic.
Gothic.
Gothic decoration.
It is.
It was the coat of honor, or even the clock courtyard, because there was a clock up there. The only place in the fort you had a clock.
C'est la cour la plus grande du fort.
This is the biggest courtyard. But isn't it strange that it's designed?
I just love that there's more than one. That's kind of what makes me happy.
The big holes were not for holding clocks. They ventilated inlets.
Il reste quelques petits morceaux à l'intérieur, des petits morceaux de ferraille. Je trouve que c'est bien l'endroit.
Right.
C'est une belle cour. En bois.
C'est celle qui est la mieux.
Qui existe encore, hein, sur cette époque.
These were bedrooms. These were the peacetime barracks, I presume. Well, so this is where the boiler was. Yeah. I'm hiding in a hole, of course.
Ooh, come and see. To see, there are water tanks underneath, and our host has just dropped it in the stone in to see how deep it is. There were no water, like a dormo.
Okay, so there's the only water here was the water that was assembled.
Rainwater gathered together, yes.
Was that enough?
It's 412,000 liters of water. Okay.
412,000 liters of water, each man 12 liters a day. Say 700 men.
650.
650 men by 12 liters a day. Somebody out there will do this math. We don't have to. We just want to tell you that we're smart enough that we could do it if we wanted to do it.
Right. The demonstration.
Oh, this is where the water cistern is.
Yeah.
All right. Go get the rock back. Very cool. I imagine it's probably clean.
L'eau est filtrée, n'est-ce pas?
L'eau est filtrée.
The water's filtered.
Elle est tout à fait potable.
You can drink it, yeah.
Et très froid.
It's very cold.
I like cold water.
Les lunettes, c'est
Il y avait aussi la goutte.
And we will now show you a room that's in one piece. And I'm using the term extremely loosely because
Mais ça c'est unique, la forme gothique, on n'a jamais fait. Voilà, exactement. The Gothic style here is unique. Ah, this is stone. Okay, that was the stove was there, the wood stove.
so there's one on both sides of the room.
Oh, coke. They were coke. They burnt coke.
Hast du Zigarre? So, all right, so here we go. There's something you don't see every damn day. This is where the hot air would go from the heating stove. And then it would dissipate throughout the buildings, throughout the caserne, keeping everybody warm. And unlike World War II German tradition, they would not cook on their bunker stove. It was just for heating, using coke.
La batterie, ils passent beaucoup de temps autour les portes, les fenêtres, ils ont des salles de réunion, etc. Ah, this is the waterproofing material on the floor.
On the floor?
It covered the floor.
Anything? Was there any on the roof or the ceiling?
Il n'y avait pas sur le toit? Non.
Oh, you used to have a pretty floor. Suppose they haven't rusted away, but that's the original little bottom of the stove. And then we're speaking of bits and pieces. All right, what bits and pieces do we have here? So, you don't have to tell me that they found these in the fort, because I already know that part. But what did they find? The original shoes. Great. All right, so let's have a look at the shoes here. Hobnails. Roger, did the French ever use well, no, these are not hobnails. These are just nails through the boots. These are French boots, or they are very small. That's some very small feet there.
No, that's a repair.
That's a repair.
These are the hobnails.
These are the hobnails. So these are German.
No, these are French.
The French had hobnails too?
Hobnail boots, yeah.
But I mean, look at how small these are. This foot was. It's almost like a lady's shoe. It is. I mean,
that's a private shoe. It's not an army issue.
Ooh, now we have porcelain here.
That's the fusée de l'obus. That's a shell fuse. Rose fuse.
Il les a enlevés, hein. Normalement, le port est en alerte, on enlève.
They're saying the 305s that came here were base fused.
Oh, so they were delayed.
6,000 feet up. They plunged down, and I added that they went through the speed of sound. You never heard them coming. They came down almost vertically, and because they were base fused, going at such a speed and such a weight, they would penetrate a long way before the fuse would detonate.
Yeah. Just like the ship fuses. Delay on the ship fuses in the rear. Yes. I actually didn't know they did that for fuses for non-armored. That's a hardened. That's an anti-armor or anti-hardened target shell. That's base fused.
Yes, it is.
It is. Yeah. Same thing for ships. Yeah. Wait. There's more. Oh, and by the way, guys, don't even worry. We haven't even started on this fort yet. We haven't seen near half of it. This is just an amazingly big place. Apparently. And these are some of the bedposts that we see sticking out of the ground. Yep. Oh, I see tunnels. Lots and lots of tunnels.
But as with the entrance where they're Gothic arches, these bedrooms in this triangular courtyard are unique. I mean, I've never seen a bedroom on a curve.
And he was asking me if I ever seen heating go through the walls like that with the stove. I don't remember I've ever seen anything like that, but that doesn't mean we haven't seen it, just no one ever pointed it out.
Exactly, you see the slot in the ceiling and you don't know what it's for.
No, I mean, it's nice to actually go through these with somebody who knows what they're talking about, because otherwise, look at the tile floor here. This floor is different than the herringbone stone.
Yes.
Herringbone stone. Which is a stone herringbone pattern. It's the pattern that's herringbone, not denoting that it's wood, right?
It's not wood.
No, but next in there, it was a herringbone pattern in stone.
In stone, yes.
So your herringbone denotes the pattern, not the material.
Yes,
right?
yes.
Good.
Yes,
I hope you all learned.
Herring that big.
I hope you all learned something.
The underground ventilation systems too.
Right, yeah.
The circulation of air underneath.
They did a lot of air ventilation in these places, much more than one would think.
These are original pieces of bed, they dug out and put them in their original positions. Beds for men, two up, two down, with the straw sacks, the paillasse, to sleep on.
We have to look at the officer's bed because, all right, you get the reverse springs, or in order to, you lay down, you have traction, all that stuff. But you get to look at, it was actually moving on little hinges. And I only thought the Germans or the Prussians could be guilty of over-engineering a bloody bed. I guess the French can do it too. It's a bed. Make it flat, put a mattress on there, done. No. You have to put the little springs on rollers, and you gotta love that. Even if the officers slept off out on the side of the fort for the most part.
Non, c'est par là-bas. C'est par là. Pour ça, vous savez, hein, lorsque le fort est en alerte.
You got the security shutters, which is right now keeping this room secure from falling out of itself. Because, well, we talked about this whole shell thing, didn't we?
Oui, parce que tu sais pourquoi les charrières l'ont pris.
Yeah, shell hit right on the corner there. So it's appropriate that they put these in to sort of keep the room from, I guess, dissolving. Right.
So you know, in fact, these did not revolve.
They could be flipped upside down?
Ah, these are railway rails.
Et là, ils sont mis verticales.
Oh, that were upside down. Oh, really?
Yeah.
I'm surprised they didn't get those. Huh?
They're upside down rails. Bien avant Maginot, on a utilisé les rails usés. Parce que qu'est-ce qu'on allait faire avec les rails usés? On va faire rail. Très bonne idée.
Slightly tasseled tunnel entrance here. You know, little pieces of brick and rock above my head, as they should be. I feel much more comfortable that way. These guys are doing a great job. So they get together every weekend and everybody's volunteers, or?
No, the third Sunday of every month.
The third Sunday of every month. I mean, they're all volunteers, so I take it, right?
Yeah.
Do they get any money from the city or anything?
Vous n'avez pas de subvention?
Non.
I know that was a stupid question.
Mais un peu coupé l'herbe, on a le sens hein, pour le...
Comme au fioul, ça va.
Il faudrait gratter.
Ah oui, il y a des... Ouais, mais après, attention, parce que t'en as qui vont te subventionner, mais après, c'est sous condition, tu vois.
Oui, non, mais
Moi, je vais tout...
Bits and pieces, bits and pieces. Lots of shoes. This looks like shrapnel. This is a spiky piece of shit. It came flying at you. Shrapnel will change your interior design, I will say. Holy crap. It fell. Safe ammunition or food canisters? Munition oder gegessen? Munition? Munition oder Essen?
Ça c'est différent.
Les gothiques, les balles sont plus hauts. Mais ça, c'est plus petit.
Ça, c'était pour garder à Paris, ça. Ou alors, j'ai vu un autre truc, je demandais, parce qu'il connaît même l'histoire.
Comme ceci,
Je demandais à...
le mur.
Mais certains étaient pour garder la brûlure, comme ça aussi.
Es ist für Essen.
Für Essen, ja, das habe ich gedacht. Ja.
Il y a autre chose aussi.
Oui.
Fabien connaît mieux que moi.
Also the food transport, food containers.
Ça, c'est tout ce qui était récupéré sur le fort.
Oui. And here you get the sleepers. They're actually railway beams cut up. And one of the ventilation wheels. You gotta love this.
Gerade hätte mal gesagt, das ist das Fleisch, wo kommt die Kuh.
Da!
Voilà.
So, hier gefunden.
Ja, das haben sie hier gefunden.
Il y a un endroit là-bas, il y a les crochets pour.
Aber kein Menschen.
Nein. Pour mettre la viande.
Jemand gibt es etwas, wo noch die Hege
Ja?
nicht ganz durch.
Ja,
Fürs Fleisch.
Ah. Well, I mean, this is a cow rib. Oh, cows are so cute and so tasty. They're too tasty for their own good. Well, they ate good as they should. If you're going to war, you better have good food with you. Always feed your soldiers. Don't forget.
On a fait un petit musée là, qui est sécurisé quand même.
Si on ferme les entrées principales, les jeunes vont...
Mais ils grimpent partout en fait. Et quand
More
c'est
beds.
rempli de sable, ils le mettent, ils les empilent.
And this is the walkway that we've seen before behind the sleeping quarters. That has a whole lot of new ceiling openings in them. And here they have just been destroyed. I mean, damn, this thing was bombed to very small pieces. I mean, look at this room. This is just amazing. This thing really took some damage. Beautiful arches. Beautiful room.
Trolley here was used, and there's the body.
Food.
It was used to dig out the tunnels.
Oh, so this for the little mining cart.
Mine.
Oh, very cool.
Okay. And the grill up there, that would be where the hot air would come out. Okay.
Uh-huh.
The furnace here, the it's not a pipe, it's a trunk basically, which finishes at the grill, letting the hot air fall. And then the coal air goes into the furnace and back round.
Now, one thing I keep wondering is very few people died here during the bombardment. I mean, there must have been a good commander, because with all this damage and few casualties, how did that happen?
We had a commander here who really looked after his men. At regular intervals, not during the bombardment, etc., but before the war, he would send them to bathe in the Meuse at a nearby village. And that's the sort of thing the officers never did. I can think of Drion. He's the same kind of man. Drion looked after his men, built their fortifications, and the commander here, he looked after his men as well. And if there was a bombardment, he sent them outside, or he sent them to the shelters. The Germans never wanted to lose men capturing the fort. If they could smash the guns and neutralize the fort, then they would bypass it. Yeah, of course, one of my great heroes, Colonel Drion, he did part of his military service, his early military service, here in the fort. He was a member of the garrison, and it's here that he wrote his alternative histories of the possibilities of future warfare, and the name of son nom de plume.
So this fort was literally dismantled by explosives alone. They just shelled it until it stopped functioning, which is smart, actually. If you can neutralize the fort's effect on the battlefield, if it can no longer affect the outcome of the battle by intervening, if its guns are neutralized, bottle up the soldiers here and leave it alone. Why risk men trying to take something that's not doing anything anyway? That was actually a very smart decision on part of the commander. On the German commander, of course, that is. And you got to give it to the French commander in a war where commanders have so often been lamented and vilified on pretty much all sides for what have been universally accepted as a universal slaughter of lions led by donkeys, I think the term is, denoting that all the officers leading the armies of World War II or World War I were uncaring, callous towards the safety and security of their men, throwing them away in mass attacks. And if you really look into the situations, there's a lot of different facets, aspects of this. It certainly was not always true. And here it most certainly wasn't true, where you had a French commander who saved the lives of his men, because he knew this fort, the way it was constructed, beautiful and immense as it is, couldn't withstand a German bombardment as it was exposed to. And that really says something. He did something other than what was expected. And you see British, German, French commanders in this war that broke the mold of what you expect to see in World War I by actually doing the right thing as we know it today. But as they went into the war, they only knew what they knew. They went in to fight a war they had, well, I guess fought to some degree in 1870, 1871. There was all the little European, Eastern European wars that were going on before World War I that should have taught lessons. But they were smaller conflicts. But anybody going into World War I should have seen the writing on the wall. There should have been no doubt what machine guns and artillery and cannons could have done or could do, given what they did during the Franco Prussian War. If you look at the way the mitrailleuse, even though it was a rather cumbersome stage-operated weapon, what they did to the Prussian cavalry was staggering. And the staggering losses a machine auto-fired weapon could do. And if any commander who's somewhat awake in the interwar years kept abreast with Maxim machine guns and the Russian-Japanese war, well, he would have known that these kinds of mass attacks were just insanity. Although there were some counter arguments to what you would see of why are these men walking towards trenches, because they simply couldn't run to them because they would be exhausted by the time they got there. And I keep talking about this war and not looking at this amazing space we're in. And here's the amazing floor I'm standing on with little figures. And here you can really see how the heat would be dissipated from the stove that would been sitting right here. I mean, here you actually have the rooms almost intact. Plastered over the hallway there, come down to the grate there, and the same from the other side, but slightly askew. What a beautiful building this is. And here, actually, I've never seen these barracks being divided by a wall. And I mean, I feel safe, but if shelling started, you know what? I would probably rather get the hell out. I honestly probably would. Honestly, a little bit of the wooden panel. Is that a wooden panel? It looks like a wooden panel. It's a wooden panel. It's a little wooden panel. Imagine this would have been a lighting at one point. Well, still here. Nothing left of the wall there, except all the electrical in the ceiling, which is really something else. Oh, and here's the 2 stories And here's the staircase that is totally passable. Here's a bat. Here's a bat. Hey, buddy. The electrical just blows me away. Come on, bat. It's all right, dude. There's the upstairs. That is completely destroyed. So staircase, I said. Well, doesn't feel like it's going anywhere. I don't feel I'm, death adjacent. Oh, look, somebody rebuilt the floor here. That might mean I'm not going to die now. That's brilliant. It's still a sturdy place. It really is. This is not like you see one of the industrial buildings or a factory that's been being dilapidated, falling apart. This still was a real fort that really... I'm thinking this might be the commander's room here. And I'm thinking this might be the actual commander. Him we can talk about more. Gorgeous. Wonder what's hanging there. It couldn't have been a hammock. Almost looks like a pipe holder. But yeah, like I was saying, you see, I go through dilapidated, falling down buildings, casernes, barracks, all the time. This absolutely doesn't have the feel of being shaky. Man fühlt das hier doch ganz sicher.
Ja, ja.
Es ist nicht unkomfortabel,
Ja,
nicht
ja,
unsicher. And here underneath the room that I was next to up here, that's collapsed. Und hier ist auf die Fenster für die Kaserne. Gibt's noch da.
Okay, ja.
Die sagt, ja. This is the little, what's left of the window for the barracks. That is actually still in the original place. Everything else seems to have relocated around it, but
Und jetzt, weißt du, was das ist? Eine Ration oder? Komisch. Jetzt, schau mal.
geht's ganz durch. Luftung?
Weiß nicht.
Vielleicht Luftung? Ich weiß nicht, auch nicht. Wo ist die zwei Experten?
Ja, sie sind...
I was going to go, what a cute little church window, but then I started realizing, well, that's actually just one of the little arches where everything else is missing. You appear to be painfully stationary. Yep, there used to be a room here with the other end over there. Reminding you all they built this in 2 years and we still probably haven't seen half of it. Well, I guess the other half we'll never see because, well, the Germans blew it up. If the Germans hadn't blown up, the American army would probably have shown up in World War II and done it. Just saying. Ooh, stuff. This is a neat little display. This is the kind of museum I like. Original stuff found right here. Bits and pieces, shells on the floor. Glasses, electricity parts. Love it. This is the part where we were, that was up. got another part of the caserne leading out into more of the fort. And then, of course, you have even more. This was a huge fort. This was a huge bloody fort. I mean, this really was a very large underground complex. And everywhere there's little bits and pieces that they found around here in place where it should be. And here's the other side of what is this little courtyard where you saw the little half there that is no more. Actually, maybe the caserne exists here to some degree. I mean, the fact that it's still standing in the... Wow. Holy shit! Holy shit! The fact that it's still standing in the way it is just amazing. I mean, one wall is completely shelled and destroyed. And you turn to the interior, and it's still there. I mean... They made all the walkways. All right. This I understand. It is a hole. And since some of this are actually leaves, this goes all the way to the roof. And I thought it would be. And we have this stuff. Das ist so groß. This just continues. So, was? Nee, kein Wasser hier. Was ist hier? Holy shit. Oh, fuck me, donkey. What the hell? Ganz tief, ne? 30 Meter?
Ja.
That's a 30 meters down. Vertical hole. No climb? Oh, die hatte ein unterirdische Magazin anfangt, aber es war nicht fertig. So what you're looking at is, well, that's a ventilation hole, and here, of course, more tunnels. And what we're standing on, well, not entirely sure what we're standing on, because they were anticipating building a well. They might or might not have. They were also anticipating building a magazine 30 meters down that, from what I understand, they didn't do or didn't finish. This could be it as well. And here you have something that looks like cement. What is that? Aha! Sieht aus neu.
Voilà.
So, was ist das denn? This looks like another little caserne here. This is so gorgeous. And we do know that I love these people because they just let me run off unhinged as the raving fortress lunatic that I am. And anybody who trusts me to run loose in their dilapidated, falling apart museum, I mean, they deserve some sort of medal recognition. You know, maybe I should start giving some of these guys honorary helmets. This is cement on both sides of me here. And here's crisscrossing steel bars. And here's another deep tunnel. Yep, here's another deep tunnel going right down here. Another 30 meters down. I mean, look, you can get lost in it. Holy shit. Okay, I'm looking down. I should be looking up. This must have been for the cranes for, this is all cemented, all rebarred. Well, I don't know, there is rebar. Here are the bats coming. Here are the bats coming. Hope you enjoy the bats. That's kind of cool. Bats coming down here getting me. They're big boys too. But you look at the rebar in the floor, look at all the cement. What in the hell is this? Oh, you ain't seen nothing yet. You haven't seen anything yet.
What do you know? You missed out.
No, I was talking to all my new bat friends.
I've done a hole like that.
I know, there's another hole that's full of rebar and cement over here. I'm confused.
This is the entry to the works of 1917, like you went down at Le Regret.
This is where they were going to make the underground magazine. Magazine?
No.
No?
No. Tunnel.
Tunnels to enter and leave the fort and the bombardment.
So what are the other tunnels?
At the end of 1916, with the experience of the Battle of Verdun, they sent out the order that every fort commander should dig his escape tunnel to evacuate his soldiers in the event of bombardment, but especially in the event of a gas attack. They didn't want to be trapped in the forts, which were full of gas.
So what is the other tunnel over here? Walk this way.
Il y a 3 km de galerie sous le fort.
3 kilometers of tunnels under this fort.
Well, just get me... 3.
Ça, c'est 2 fois plus attrayant.
Oui.
And I see the rail. I see the mini rail here.
Dont une sortie qui donne directement sur le village de Liouville.
Ah, there's a tunnel which goes directly to the nearby village.
Let's go.
Liouville.
I see the rail tracks in the ground here. You see the rail tracks?
C'est le mess des officiers. Ça c'est le mess des officiers.
This is the officers' mess. Yeah.
I care about that. I care about this. I've seen the officers' mess. This I want to know more about.
Il y a un tunnel ici.
Oui. Il y a des puits partout en fait. Donc,
All right. Look up, Roger.
This is the machine gun turret.
This is where the turret was.
La turret de mitrailleuse était en haut.
If this was the machine gun turret, why are we standing on a 30-meter drop below us?
Ah oui, je vois.
Yes. Explain. We don't need that much. We don't need this much for a machine gun turret.
What was this for? This is incredible.
But what is it?
C'est pour faire quoi?
Je sais plus. Je demanderai à mes collègues, mais je sais plus à quoi ça servait ici.
We don't know.
We don't know?
Par contre, j'ai remarqué qu'il y avait une nurserie, enfin il y a un groupement de chauves-souris là.
So why is there a hole?
On va essayer de pas trop les embêter.
Et le trou, ça va où?
Eh ben pareil, c'est les travaux 17.
It's the same thing as another entrance to the underground tunnel.
But we don't know
14
what.
mètres de profondeur.
14 meters deep.
But we don't know what this was.
They don't know what this crisscross was.
But the cement. I mean, that's for the? It can't all be for the turret. Well, I mean, this is. Was this where the? Are you sure this is where the turret was?
Well, that's what I've read in the description.
What does he say?
No, the turret was somewhere else.
So we don't know what this was. Do we know when this happened?
This is a mystery, isn't it?
I mean, but there's rebar in this stuff.
Yeah.
Are we sure this is even World War One?
Oh yeah, they had reinforced concrete in World War One.
Yeah, but why would they put it here?
Well, there was some future modification which they never carried through with.
I've never seen anything like this.
Neither have I.
I've seen the big ass bat before, and I named him, by the way. His name is Fred, the fat one.
Fred. Est-ce que c'est décrit dans le livre du football?
Three kilometers of tunnels. I get that part. A huge, enormous cement turret. I don't get that part. Not even a little bit. I don't get it. That's... I mean, look at this cement.
There was a visitor came here a long time ago and got inside the fort, and he fell in he didn't have a lamp. He fell in one of these shafts 14 meters deep, and he was badly injured, and it was just by chance that people saw his car was outside. I wonder what he was doing there. Otherwise he'd have died in the fort.
Well, that's how you'll find me one day. Yeah. But, well, someone will.
Another victim. This is so strange.
This is...
Yeah, it's fixed in the concrete.
I know.
What the hell was that for?
What's above it? What's upstairs? What can we see up there?
Il y a une galerie. En haut, c'est une galerie.
Oh, il y a une galerie. There's a tunnel up there.
So we can get upstairs and see this from the other end?
On peut monter dans la galerie pour voir ceci.
Oui, oui, mais par le dessus.
Oh, from the outside.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
That is so weird.
That really is something.
Really weird. And then the little shelf, look,
Yeah. We are sure this is World War I, right?
Yes, this is World War I.
What happened here during World War II? Did anybody do anything here?
No, c'était abandonné. Pendant la Deuxième Guerre mondiale, c'était abandonné.
Ah oui, il y avait personne ici.
And nobody came in World War II.
Nobody came here. I'm just following the rail tracks. Oh, there's a lot of bats upstairs. I woke them all up. I started naming them before you guys got here.
Avant notre arrivée, hein? Longtemps avant de tout. Quand il y a le pied, quand il y a quelque chose.
Il y a la même sur les mais moi, je ne veux pas. Là, c'était la poudrière que derrière.
C'était la. It was the powder store that was blown up.
Oh.
Oh, pas le grand.
Il a été complètement détruit.
Oh, it's completely destroyed.
So we're standing on it.
No, it's on the left here. That's it.
Oh, this was it.
That's it.
Ça, c'était l'accès à la poudrière.
That was the way into the powder store.
Et il n'y en reste plus rien.
Ah.
On n'a jamais tenté de dégager quoi que ce soit.
De
toute façon, on sait qu'elle était vide. Ouais.
Yeah, it was empty at the time, so there's no point in digging it out.
True.
Wow, these are big hits. You're going up there?
Aren't I? He looked like he was going out. I think we're going out this way. Ooh, I see cement-ish.
Alors ici, on est dans les quartiers du gouverneur.
The governor's quarters.
The governor's quarters. Is he serving tea? So what military rank is a governor?
This amazing place is, in fact, so large that I'm going to have to create 2 episodes just to show you everything. Now that you've seen some of the mysteries, the next episode we are going to go on to the battle stations with the cannons and the steel domes. I'll take you through those next week. And maybe we're lucky enough to get a peek of the 3 kilometers of underground tunnels. And maybe we'll meet some more nice bats.
Wow. That's an amazing... Behind me is Van von Baum's first test stand. Down the road is Diebner's nuclear reactor. Over there is the Maginot Line and all its amazing forts. I'm visiting them all and I'm bringing them to you. So I really appreciate you like, follow, and share what I'm doing, trying to document all these important historical locations. And if you feel like you want to watch more pictures or documents that I use for these, go to lostbattlefields.com. And if you feel like helping me out with my travels, because gasoline and travel and airfare is expensive, my PayPal is there, protectionserviceint.com. You are more than welcome, but you don't have to. I appreciate all your support and all your help, and I love seeing these locations, and I love bringing them to you.